Hey, good morning, guys. Mike with Chassis Parts Online here again. This is Monday morning. Back on this 56 for, I don't know, about hour and a half this morning. Then I got to get back on stuff inside the shop. What I'm going to do first is clean up this mess around the truck. Get this dirt and stuff out of the way so I can pull these plates off. I got to move the rear holes a little bit to make the plates align with the frame better. And then I got to put the spacers on the back side in the right place so that the inside pieces that go to the top and bolt down from the top and bolt down from the bottom will be in place. And these big frame braces, even though they bolt in, they'll be pretty strong, hold the frame together pretty well. So let's see if we can do that this morning. Okay, I've blown all the dirt, swept some of the dirt and blown the rest of it up the driveway a little bit just to get it out of my way, what's under here. The problem I got is my neighbor's uphill, and for me, as you can see, look at all that crap over there. Water runs down the hill, runs right into my driveway, and I don't have any room inside. I've got a LS swap inside and another frame table in there. So got to do this one in the yard, or in the driveway basically. So here we are. I think I'm going to move those two jack stands behind the step mounts, which is behind the plates that I'm putting on. And then I want to start holding the template up there, or the actual piece, and bending some of that frame rail top just to get it straight to where the metal pieces will fit inside of it. And then we'll go to changing where the holes are to make it fit perfect. And we're going to use those holes as our lineup. Those holes and that hole right there. If we have to go down in the back like I thought, we'll use that hole as the pivot, and we'll pivot it down in the back, make new holes, and then I'll measure everything on this plate. I'll measure it from the back edge forward in CAD, and I'll measure it from the bottom edge up in CAD to figure out exactly where each one of these holes will be. And again, in CAD, I'll take that front hole and use it as the pivot. I think I'm going to get rid of these holes. These are the short holes, and I'm going to change to the taller plate, which is that plate right there. Because this plate here these bottom bolt holes will be under the frame on the front of this truck. The frame goes right along here, right under here somewhere. On this truck now, on the 65 up, the frame is that thick, but on this 56 it's not. So I'll have to redo those holes right there, or I may just take and bolt this on, and then center punch those holes and drill those straight on through like in the drill press, and then fill the rest of the hole. May just need to go ahead and weld those up before I drill it. I hate to weld and then try to drill through a weld, but I may have to do that in this case. But first, get the frame straightened out, and then the next thing I've got to do is I got to cut these off. Got to cut these, and that one. The front one will stay because it's the pivot point, but for sure this one's got to go, and these two got to go, because all these will move too. That hole gets welded up because we're not going to use it, and in the future we're probably going to put another hole right here. I may go ahead and do that now so that we got that extra hole here. And on future versions that don't need this full entire strip, this frame box will go to, say, about here in the front and about here in the back, maybe a little further each way, and it'll have bolt holes, say here and here, and then two up here to go all the way through the frame to square that frame up, because some people may already have their frame boxed, and if they do, then they can just use a plate like this and drill through. And people that don't, that aren't using a big motor, don't need all that extra bracing of the frame. They don't have to buy the whole thing. So basically, you're talking about a modular kit here that can be added to or subtracted from, and the parts can bolt together. I would have to figure out how to make this plate bolt to a longer plate in the back if somebody wanted to add that to it and box their frame in too. Anyways, let me get these things cut off of here and we'll get back on the frame. Okay, now I've got these plates off. I've got all those cut off. I don't think I'll have to use them again. These are pretty simple to make, but they do have a flat edge, so I could grind that stuff off and reuse them, but I just don't know if it's worth my time. I've got this pivot point with a bolt through both pieces there. Okay, and I moved this top plate up 3/16, which moves these holes up 3/16. So I'm going to mark that, and then I'll cut the bottom plate with the plasma cutter. Then I'll come back and bolt it together again 3/16 up from here, and I'll weld the tubes on the top of this plate, and then I'll actually have to weld them on the bottom of the other plate, because those will be right. This plate will align it. Okay, so I'll weld them on the bottom of that plate, and then those will be the ones used to mark this plate correct. Okay, that's what I got to do. Okay, one good thing about this is, guys, I've got a camera and a tripod coming today, so the videos are about to get a little bit better. And then I'll just have to learn some video editing software. I don't even know which one to use, but I'll do some research and see what I can find out. But let me get some of these parts cut and drilled. Got to drag the plasma cutter and the welder out here, and we will see what we can get done. Okay, got the plate with a pin through the front bushings. That's our pivot point. And at the back, we've moved the holes up 3/16, which moves the plate down 3/16. Okay, so this is this is going to be the right side plate. What I'll do is I'll weld that, and then I'll take this bottom piece and notch those holes at the top, move this plate together where it's flush on this edge, and then put the tubes on the other side and weld it. That way I know they'll be in the right place. I don't know if I'm going to have to move those two holes or that hole yet, but we'll find out here in just a little bit. Looks kind of ganked up, but with these tubes welded on, the bolts will be precisely in the right spot for the actual holes in the frame. Then when I go back to the CAD drawing, I can make sure that when I have it laser cut, it's going to fit somebody else's frame. Now, I understand these frames are stamped and they had holes stamped in them, and they may not all be the same, but they're going to be damn close. So what you'll need to do that is a reamer like that. That's basically a 1/2-inch reamer. That's what I have to run that 1/2-inch reamer through this 1-inch DOM tube quarter wall, because even though that's supposed to be a 1/2-inch hole, a bolt will not go through it and just slide through. So it has to all be reamed. But once it is reamed, the bolt fits in there pretty well. There's no slop, so fits good. So here we go with the next step. Okay, there we are with those welded just a little bit on each side. I didn't weld them all the way around this time. There's no reason to weld them all the way around. They're not going anywhere once they're bolted up. And I still haven't decided whether the prototype version will have all these tubes welded on it or not. For strength, they probably should be welded, so I'll need to look into that. But for this one, for right now, I'm gonna weld all of them on this one, because some of these holes are not in the right place, and once they do get in the right place, I need them to be right there for measurement and to fit this truck. So let me do the other side and we'll see what we got. Okay, so here we have it. Got them bolted through. One plate aligns the other, makes the tubes align with each other. Now, that hole right there is getting welded up because it's not needed. And I don't know about these holes yet, because these were originally off when I first started. So what I'm going to do is I'll put this plate, which is the left side plate. I'll put it on the outside of the left side, and I'll put a bolt through from the back side where the original frame hole will line this up. I'll put a tube on it right here on the outside, and we'll weld that tube on it while it's bolted to the frame. That way I know that hole's right. Same for this one. And I think I'm going to add a hole here. Like, there's a hole somewhere right up in here from the original steering box. I think I'll go and make that hole in both of these so that we've got the 2, the 4, the 6. That's pretty strong frame. Now there'll be some bolts coming in from the top of the frame with a flat plate there, flat plate on the bottom with holes going in from the bottom, and those will have welded nuts on the inside. Okay, and the other thing is this bottom plate hasn't had these holes drilled yet. Okay, so I think what I can do is flip this over, put the taller plate on here, and drill through from one side to the other, and that's gonna leave that hole kind of oblong. I might as well just go ahead and weld that up first before I do that. But at least the other hole, especially if I put a welded tube on it, I can run the drill bit right down through there, and the tube will hold the drill bit straight. So I hate to drill through a weld, as I said before, but I don't have much time left. It's about 7:40 this morning. I could only be out here till about 8 o'clock this morning. Number one, this is Texas heat. It's well over 90 degrees already this morning. And I've got an obligation to build a whole bunch of control arms, and I'm going to need the rest of the day to do that. So let me get as much of this done as I can before I go in, and I may end up having to come back out later on, but till the end of that, I'm going to call it the end of this episode. This will be episode 2 of the prototyping of this. You guys subscribe to my channel, like it, whatever you got to do. As I said before, I'm new to YouTube, so I'm trying to build some followers, so get some people to watch my videos. Got any questions you want talked about? Just message me and I will take care of it. Peace.